Going on a cruise is very different than boarding a plane, boarding a train, or even checking in for a hotel. In this video, I'm going to go through all of the cruise documentation that you'll need so that your embarkation day is a breeze. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, if you are going on a cruise for the first time, or even if you haven't cruised in a few years, well, the boarding process on embarkation day, the online check-in, and the cruise documentation that you need might seem a little bit confusing. Now, it's actually not that complicated. However, there are some things that you should know to avoid worst case scenarios like being denied boarding. Unfortunately, it does really happen. And I'll also share with you some tips and best practices so that you can feel completely prepared for your cruise. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number one, your passport. Now, when it comes to boarding your cruise, you will need your passport. Now, there are some exceptions to this, which I will share in this video. However, if you're going on an international cruise, if you're leaving from a cruise port in the United States and you are not a US citizen, you are going to need a valid passport to board your cruise. Now, something very important to know, and it really is not obvious, but it is that your passport actually has to be valid for many countries for at least 6 months after the last day that you will return from travel. Now, for many cruise itineraries, this is required, so make sure that you do check on your expiry date way in advance to allow time to get your new passport. A birth certificate for certain cruises. Now, this doesn't apply to everyone, so always make sure that you are verifying your own information with your travel agent or cruise line. However, there are some cruise itineraries where US citizens are able to travel without a passport and can board with a state-issued birth certificate. Now, cruise lines still often recommend traveling with a passport. If you did have an emergency when you were in another country, you would need to get back and you would need a passport to do that. However, there are some cruises that are called closed loop cruises. These are basically cruises that leave and return to a US port where a birth certificate will be sufficient. Now, something super important for those closed loop cruises is there are some exceptions when it comes to the cruise ports. So for instance, Colombia does require a passport. Sometimes Colombia is on a Panama Canal cruise. So you still do want to check and verify that you do have the documentation that you will need. Now, speaking of government issued ID, even if you are traveling with a passport, it's always a good idea to bring along with you other forms of government ID, like a driver's license with a photo. Now, one of the reasons is because when you do get off the cruise ship in cruise ports of call, many cruise ports of call will not actually require you to bring a passport with you to get off and to return to the cruise ship, but they will ask for some form of government issued ID, and most of the time a driver's license will suffice. This way, if you want, you could leave your passport in your cabin safe where it's safe and secure. Your boarding pass. Now, on embarkation day, you're going to need your boarding pass to board your cruise. It's going to have your reservation number as well as all of the other information about your cruise. Now, something that you'll want to make sure that you've done is that you've completed your online check-in. Now, after completing your online check-in before your cruise, you'll want to print out those boarding passes. Now, as an alternative to printing out the boarding passes, if you've completed your online check-in on the app for the cruise line, oftentimes you can simply present your boarding pass on your phone. Your luggage tags. So something that you'll want to do is make sure that you do print out your luggage tags and make sure that you do have them for the day of the cruise. Now, I always make sure that I even print a couple of extras. And by the way, you do not need to print them out in color. You can print them out in black and white. That is absolutely fine. But something that I do, and you might want to do, is consider buying plastic luggage tag holders. Now, you can definitely simply staple them onto your luggage. You can reinforce them with tape, but the other way that I think is just a little bit easier, and these are reusable and they're not very expensive, but is that you can buy these plastic luggage tag holders. Now, they do come in a couple of different sizes depending on the cruise line that you are cruising with. I will leave them linked down below in the description of this video in case you are interested in checking them out. A health questionnaire. Now, before boarding a cruise, all cruise passengers do have to fill in a health questionnaire. This can be online, even on the cruise line app, or in some cases before boarding the cruise, the check-in agent may ask you a few questions as well. A form of payment for your onboard account. Now, likely when you did your online check-in, you would have already added a form of payment like a credit card for your onboard account. However, it is a good idea to bring that credit card with you as well, not only for additional expenses, but in case they do need to verify that as well. Now, by the way, if you're interested in staying organized as you plan and get ready for your cruise, I do have the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner. Now, the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner is a 47-page downloadable printable cruise planner that you can print out the pages that you need for as many cruises that you do go on. Now, it includes cruise packing lists, shore excursion planning forms, cruise outfit planning forms, and more. I'll leave all of the information linked down below in the description of this video in case you do want to check that out. A security photo. Now, you may have been prompted to add a security photo when you did your online check-in on your app or your computer. However, if you don't have a security photo attached to your account, they will take a photo of you before you board. Now, something we don't talk about very much anymore are vaccination requirements or testing requirements, and that's because most cruises don't require them anymore. However, there are some itineraries where they are still required. At the time that I'm filming this, Australia, Singapore, even I believe there's at least one cruise line that does require them. So especially if you have a more exotic itinerary, if you're on a trans-Pacific crossing, or really if for any reason you are unsure, do check with your travel agent or cruise line. Visas. Now, speaking of specific itineraries, depending on where you're traveling to, you may be required to get a visa. And again, you'll want to reach out to your travel agent or cruise line to check on that. In addition to that, you'll also want to check if there are any other types of vaccinations that are required for the destination that you're traveling to. Traveling with children. Now, if you're traveling with children that are not your own, or you're traveling with children and you're one parent and both parents are not there, you do want to make sure that you have the required documentation to travel with them that the cruise line will ask for. Now, all of the different cruise lines will have that information right on their website. I'm going to actually screenshot a couple of different cruise lines so that you can see that information. But whether you're a parent, grandparent, or even you're taking your children's friends on a cruise, it really is important to make sure that you have that relevant paperwork. Now, other documentation that you'll want to have with you, even though it's not necessary for boarding, but honestly, you're going to want to have it for your cruise, so you might as well get this ready, is print out your travel insurance information. And you can also put that into an email file right on your email, but print it out as well so that you have it with you if you go into any cruise ports of call. Now, what I do is I actually print out the little part that's a little card, and I just print it out and I just take some packing tape and I put it over that. And this way I just put it right into my wallet and I have it. Now, it's also a good idea to bring with you any phone numbers that you might need in case of emergencies. So this could even include pet sitters at home. A list of your current medications. So it's always good to have a list of your current medications when you're traveling. Now, of course, you can definitely print this out, but something else that you can do is you can actually save a file in your emails where you put your list of medications, or you can screenshot your list of medications and you can start a photo album for your cruise right in your phone. Your hotel reservations, your flight information, and your shore excursions. Now, something that you might want to do is print out that information. It's especially handy if for some reason you're not able to access Wi-Fi or your data, or even you don't have your phone handy. That still can be something very useful to have. However, another tip to stay organized is do make a file in your email for all of the information for all of those reservations for your cruise. And something else that you can do is screenshot all of that and keep that in a photo album right on your phone. Now, I hope this video was helpful, but just one reminder, always reach out to your travel agent or to your cruise line to make sure that you have the right information specific to your booking. If you have any questions, please do leave them down in the comments below, and leave your tips as well that you think can help other people. I am going to leave the information all about the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner. I'll leave it linked down below in the description of this video. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.